G'day everyone, my name is Kira and welcome back to Kira's Book Den. Today I'm going to go through a small unhaul of books. Um, I mostly tend to get rid of books as I read them. There's a few here that is not the case, but when I do keep some, but I also set some aside to go once I've read them because I'm trying to. I've been a bit of a book hoarder, so I'm trying to stop hoarding as much. So I'm especially going to be getting rid of maybe like secondhand books I got or ones I was given. But yeah, that I have read. The first ones are the second and the third book in Akatar. Um, I did have the first one as well, but I got rid of that a couple of years ago when I moved um, houses and I was just getting rid of things I didn't want to bring to the new place. So I actually sent a whole bunch of books off that time too. Um, I tend I tend to donate to if I see a street library along the side of the road, like I keep a box of books that I'm hauling in the back of my car. I've in the past dropped them off at work when we had a bookshop, but they got rid of the bookshelf, so I can't do that anymore. I also send them to Lifeline, which is a thrift shop chain here in Australia. They they're all over Australia, and they every year in different capital cities around Australia they do like a big what they call a Lifeline book fest. So they gather all the books from all the shops and put them in one big, like usually a convention center or something like that, and people can go and purchase from one big place basically instead of having to go around to all the little shops and stuff. Um, so yeah, I'm sure everyone knows what this series is about by now. If you don't, it basically starts with a young woman called Farah who's poor and destitute. She hunts for her family and she kills a wolf who's a fey wolf, and she gets taken to the fey lands as punishment, and it goes from there basically. So yeah, this one I really liked how it basically spun the whole what had been set up in the first book. They spun the whole thing on its head basically, and it was like Farah starting to learn to be more independent in like lit. It's hard to explain. Like both independent in certain ways and starting to trust people and stuff, and um, maybe developing her abilities and literary skills and stuff. And then this one, where was amazing, and everything that happened in the first two books came to fruition in this, and it's just brilliant. I love it so far. With these, because they're series, and I've got two more to go, and one of them I'll be reading this coming July. Um, I'm like going to collect them together and like donate them somewhere as the whole as well, not the whole series because one's gone, but most of the series. And I think people uh like to look for these covers. Apparently, they're not in rotation anymore or whatever. So that's those ones. The other one, and I'm going to do the same with this series, is try to keep it bunched together, sort of thing. Is um the Outlander series by Diana Bowden. Again, I got rid of the first couple when I moved, but so from now on, I'm going to just build these up in the bag and donate the whole series somewhere. This is Voyager. The third book, and it's when um, there's like reuniting and stuff like that in this book. I'm not sure if you've read the first two or even watched the show, but yeah, this basically follows the third season of the show. Well, the show follows the third season of the third season of the show follows this book, but more like I love. I sort of stopped watching the show for a while because I want to it is slightly different, obviously, to this, and this the endings are slightly different too. So I was getting a bit confused. So yeah, the next one I'm going to be reading this coming in the next 12 months. Hopefully, I read two of them, but the next one, the Drums of Autumn, is the next one I'm going to be reading of theirs. Then, same deal with this one. Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I read this last month, May, yeah. And I'm going to be reading the second one. I've just started the second one now. So once this is once I've done with the second one, I'll be giving them away somewhere together. Um, it's about it's like about two women who become friends as girls, and we follow their friendship for 30 years or so. Yeah. The next two, hang on. The next two are double ups. So my friend gave me a whole bunch of Vi Keelan, Penelope Ward books. She was getting rid of like a whole box full. It's awesome. I'll show you like this. I've got my light on right there. So that's some of them. I've got the light on that. So these were double ups that I had and on my shelves, and I'm just gonna pass them on. So because she gave me a couple of them in here. So the first one is Happily Letter After by both of the authors. Um, uh, my love story all started with a letter, only it wasn't from the man I'd eventually fall in love with. It was from his daughter, a sweet little girl named Bertie Maxwell, who'd written to the magazine that I worked for. You see, once a year, my employer fulfilled a few wishes for readers, only that column didn't start up again for months. So I fulfilled some of her wishes myself. It was harmless, so I thought, until one day I took things too far. That's all I'm going to read of that blurb. And then the other one that's a double up of these guys, by Keeland, The Invitation. So I initially bought my original copy of this book purely because Nick Bateman's on the cover and I think he's really sexy. So that's literally I didn't, yeah. Anyway, this is like uh, the first time I met Hudson Rothschild was at a wedding. I'd received an unexpected invitation to one of the swankiest venues in the city. Hudson was a groomsman and quite possibly the most gorgeous man I'd ever laid eyes on. He asked me to dance, and our chemistry was off the charts. So, I mean, who wouldn't say yes to Nick Bateman? Anyway, so that's those two I'm getting rid of. Then this is another double up. I haven't read this series yet. I've got the whole series. This one I was my fault because I didn't realize I already had it. So that's Daydream by Hannah Grace. It's just so it's like there's Icebreaker, Wildfire, and Daydream. I believe this is the third book. So that was totally on me doubling up. Sometimes occasionally I do that. Yeah. So this one, when procrastination lands him in a difficult class with his least favorite professor, Henry Turner knows he's going to have to work extra hard to survive his junior year of college. And now, with his role as an ice hockey captain, which he didn't even want, Henry absolutely cannot fail. Enter Hallie Jacobs, a fellow junior who finds herself befriended by Henry when he accidentally crashes her book club. Sounds a bit similar to what I'm reading at the moment, called The Deal by L. Kennedy. So I'm loving that. So hopefully this will be a good one too when I get to my copy of it, my other copy of it. Um, this one I read closer to the beginning of the year, and I got it as a second-hand book off Thrift Books. When Thrift Books used to be able to send to Australia, you used to be able to buy $50 worth of books, which is a whole heap of books. And then you get free shipping to Australia. I don't think they do that anymore. I looked up recently and I couldn't see that they did it anymore, so that's a bummer. But So it's The Longest Ride by Nicholas Sparks, and it's all so much different to the film. Obviously, that's always the case, and that's why I sort of stopped watching a lot of book to film things. Like this is so much better than the film because this is like a dual timeline sort of novel. So you're basically following two different couples. It all ties up right at the end, as to why. But yeah, so you're following like in present day Luke and Sophia, and that's like what the movie's based off is their relationship. But in the book, you're also following Ira and Ruth, who are Jewish people um, in World War II. So during the Holocaust, they're not actually in the Holocaust themselves. Like Ruth, her family escapes from Austria right before, well, her parents and her, but she has family members. They both have family still over there. Ira has never been over there, but it still impacts them, and so you get to see their relationship from then all the way through, like through their lives basically. And I just absolutely loved it so much. So then I'm also going to unhaul the final book of that's it's not the final book of the series because it's the final book that's been ever been published in this series. I don't think she's going to keep continuing it. Philippa Gregory, Order of Darkness, Dark Tracks. So this is her young adult series. It's basically about it based on a young monk and a little band of his friends that he makes as along the way. He's got to go out and investigate so-called got to seek out things that are occurring that signal like the ends of days and all that sort of thing. So in the Middle Ages, they thought the world was coming to an end because like things like um, anything they thought was strange events that was against the church, um, and the encroachment of Islam into here, like so, like going from Roman numerals to was a big omen to them back then. So yeah, just yeah, so this group is tasked to go out and seek these things out. Um, and this one is very much about again Jewish suppression and the way they always uh, get mistreated by societies around the world. So, and it's got a lot of parallels to a World War II, and also some of the stuff that's occurring now. So yeah, it's a really interesting and evokes makes you think about how they got treated all the way through history. Um, this one I read years ago, and someone gave me her old copy of it. I was a massive X Files fan, so this one, Whirlwind, I read it when I was a teenager, so I don't remember too much about what this particular one was about. But I'm I've got some others up there that I haven't read yet that I will want to read, but this one I don't want to reread it, so that's going. This one is about a typical X Files, about a serial killer. Um, yeah, something happening in Albuquerque with ethnic groups, and it's typical X Files sort of stuff. Yeah, so that one's going. These are the ones that I haven't read that I'm passing on. I'm still umming and ahhing about this one because, well, it's The Hobbit. I tried reading Lord of the Rings and I couldn't get far in it. It's just, I felt it was too overwritten and it was very much a struggle for me, so I never read it. And this one, The Hobbit, I'm just like, is it the same thing or is it a bit simpler? I don't sure about it, so I think I'm gonna pass it on to someone who might enjoy it. I don't know if I'd enjoy it or not. I'm not sure. And then the last ones, these ones I used to watch this show called Primeval. It's a British show about how there'd be like torn portals in time, and a lot of like prehistoric animals and extinct animals would come through, and this team was put together to basically contain them and stop them from attacking people in the streets because they'd just come through so in places in the UK, and it's a really good show. But and I got these when I was into the show, but I now don't remember the characters enough to be able to read them because these media tie-in ones, you really have to know the characters to understand them. So like yeah, this is Primeval, the Lost Island, Extinction Events, Shadow of the Jaguar, and Fire and Water. I got them in a market and they were super cheap. That's so like it was a bundle. I just don't know the characters anymore, and I don't know where to rewatch them. I don't know if they're on streaming somewhere. I went looking, but I couldn't find anything, so they're just gonna keep donated. So I can Lost Island. I'll tell you what. Trawler has been torn to pieces by an enormous sea monster off the Irish coast. Meanwhile, Connor's anomaly detector goes off the chart. So you have to know the character straight away. It doesn't explain who Connor is and stuff like this. And this one is when an entelodon goes on the rampage down Oxford Street, causing unknown damage and loss of life. Cutter decides a new approach to tackling the anomalies is needed. This one, a delirious backpacker crawls out of dense Peruvian jungle, muttering about the impossible things he's seen. A local ranger reports seeing extraordinary animal tracks and bones, fresh ones that he cannot explain. Cutter and the team are plunged into the hostile environment of the Peruvian rainforest, where they endure a perilous journey towards something more terrifying than they could possibly have imagined. And then this one is about at a safari park in South Africa. Rangers are inexplicably disappearing, and strange creatures have been seen battling them with wild animals. Anyway, so yeah. I should have read them at the time. I just didn't get around to them, and now I can't remember the characters, so they're going. Well, that's all the got for this mini unhaul. Again, I'm not someone I cannot unhaul books that I haven't read. Most of the time, except for like something like this. Again, tell me what you think about me. Whether should I keep this or should I give it a go? Uh, I really do enjoy classics, but I didn't enjoy Lord of the Rings, and I just want to know is it as The Hobbit as full on as Lord of the Rings? Because if so, it's going. If not, I might give it a shot. Let me know your opinions. Also, um, leave any other comments in the description. Leave a dragon emoji for the dragon in the Hobbit if you've gotten this far. And I like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and bye.